Did you know that avoiding your emotions in the short term can have serious long-term impacts? In this video, we're going to unpack the consequences and the impacts of avoiding your emotions, but also some steps to how you can learn to feel. Hi, I'm Alex Howard, and I'm the founder of the Optimum Health Clinic, one of the world's leading integrative medicine clinics and the creator of therapeutic coaching. And in this video, we're going to unpack the impacts of ignoring our emotions. Now, firstly, why do we ignore our emotions? Well, often it's something that we've learned to do to survive our experiences of childhood. We have certain core emotional needs that when they're not met, the world can feel like a threatening and a scary place. So we learn to disconnect. We learn to not feel our feelings to be able to navigate the fact that those feelings are not being held and not being supported. We can become so normalized to that strategy that it just sort of becomes the way that we are in our life. But that doesn't mean that it's healthy, and it doesn't mean that it's the optimum way to live in our life. So the first of these impacts is obviously on our emotional body. Because we're not feeling our feelings and emotions, we're missing out on so much of the joy and the pleasure and the connection of life. When we close our hearts to hurt, sadness, anger, rage, we also are closing our heart to joy, to fun, to connection, to love. And so we really are missing out on so much of the richness and the wonder of being alive. The second category of impacts is in our physical body. When we don't feel our feelings and emotions, they don't just disappear. They often manifest in other ways. They can manifest as physical symptoms. So we find ourselves having headaches or having digestive issues or having ongoing chronic pain issues. It's like the energy of the emotion is there, but because we're not feeling it, we're not digesting it, we're not processing it, it is expressing itself in the tension in our body in physical symptoms. The third thing that can happen when we avoid our emotions is we don't do a very good job. Those feelings, for example, of anger that we have, that we're shutting down, that we're not feeling, every so often they leak out. It's almost like we've got a big black sack of all the stuff that we've not felt, we've not processed, and we're sort of walking through our life holding all that stuff. And then something happens and the top of that sack opens and all that stuff comes flooding out. And we have an entirely disproportionate reaction to the situation that's happened. Because it's not about the situation, it's about all the stuff that's in the history that's being triggered. This can really impact upon our intimate relationship, can also impact upon our friendships and our work relationships and our family life, because we're someone that's not feeling our feelings, but we're actually acting out. We're being triggered, and other people are getting the consequences and the impacts of this. The fourth thing that happens when we avoid our emotions is because we disconnect, we go into our mind, we're not feeling our feelings, but then we have an ongoing state of anxiety. It's like our mind is always going, like our nervous system is always on. It's what I call a maladaptive stress response, a healthy response to a threat that's become maladaptive. We've become stuck, we've become normalized to being in that state. So not only do we have the absence of feeling and the absence of our emotions, but we have the presence of this constant state of worry and anxiety and fear and the world not feeling like a safe place. It's like we're constantly trying to think our way to a feeling of safety because we're not letting ourselves feel our way to a feeling of safety. Now, if you resonate with any of these four impacts of not feeling our feelings and emotions, you may want to consider, is this really the best strategy for your life? Now, it may be that we don't know how to feel, but we can recognize that it's an important step for us to move forwards. So I'm going to share a couple of key principles now, but I also want to recommend another video here on my YouTube channel, which is called How to Release Trauma Stored in Your Body, where I unpack this in more detail. But a few key things. One, we've just taken the first step. Got to recognize that what we're doing isn't working. We then want to understand the different ways that we avoid. What are the strategies that we use to not feel, to disconnect? Then we've got to have practices that help us reconnect, really reconnect our mind and our body, to start to open to our feelings, to build the inner trust, to have the inner resources, to really be able to heal the past, which then really liberates us to be fully alive in our lives now. I'm super curious. What are the impacts from what I've been describing? What are the impacts that you recognize in your life? What is the price that you're paying for not feeling? Let me know in the comments below this video. I think it really helps to learn from each other. Please do check out the other video that I mentioned, and please subscribe to my channel. We're producing more videos in this series. You'll get notified as new videos are released. There's also my series In Therapy, where we film people's therapeutic journeys, and you can see a number of people doing this work with me of learning to reconnect their mind and body and really learning how to feel. Thanks for watching.